Hello, everybody, and welcome to Crisis Communication, COMM 3312. I am your professor for this semester. My name is Emery Daniel. Preferred name to use for this class is Dr. Daniel, but I also answer to Professor Daniel or Emery. Those will do just fine. So again, Dr. Daniel is preferred. And so if you are to send me an email, please do so into referencing Dr. Daniel. I greatly appreciate it. And I will extend the same courtesy to you, what your preferred name may be. And so make sure to write that in the forums so I can accommodate accordingly as to what you would like to be called. I want to go over just real quick about this course, run over a couple of details, but keep it relatively short so we can have a good start to the semester, the expectations for what we will be doing for the next 5 weeks. So first and foremost, again, my name is Dr. Daniel. My email, as you see right here, is daniel.es@appstate.edu. And just a quick note of the ES in Daniel ES, just so it gets sent to the right person. Had a couple of people where that's messed up from time to time. My office is in Walker 129. I will be on campus. So if there's any need to have an in-person meeting with me, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to talk with you. The other thing I will say is that email correspondence, I am usually around from about noon to 10 o'clock at night. So if you have any questions or concern, I may not get back to you in the morning, but I will do my best to get back to you within the day. So give me good around 24 hours. I will make sure that I get back to you. As far as this course is concerned, so this is crisis communication, and this is probably one of my favorite courses to teach here at the university because there's a lot of breadth within communication, and more specifically within fields like journalism, within fields like public relations, within fields like advertising. There's a lot of, again, breadth of the communication that exists in it. And there's no shortage of content, as you could probably think of an individual or a organization that has had some crisis in the past that they've had to go into some area of image restoration. So we'll be talking a lot about that, but also talk about things like media studies of how areas like the court of public opinion, actual court when it comes to free speech, and also how media framing, diffusions of innovations, how some of these things can take off in terms of how to resolve a crisis in and of itself. So there's a lot of things of handling a crisis and gaining a proper image back after the crisis has occurred that is very important to go through. So again, that's kind of the basis of this, but we'll have a lot of conversations about how there are ways to communicate with publics, stakeholders, that kind of thing. So requirements for this. Now, I usually like to look at 2 books within this course, and I will provide some chapters throughout. This is the first one by Kathleen Fern-Banks, Crisis Communication, a Casebook Approach. This is a really phenomenal book in terms of not only discussing theory within crisis comm, but also a lot of applicable examples as well. And I will look to put a couple of chapters of this book, Lanny Davis, Crisis Tales, on that as well. This is a fairly inexpensive book. This one is more expensive, but if you are quick to jump on going to the ASU bookstore, I believe there's no problem with getting a rental for this one. If you are having trouble with it, please let me know. I will probably put the first 2 chapters up on As You Learn regardless, so people can be caught up. I will mention that this is a lot of reading, and it is a lot of writing for this course. So be wary that within the next 5 weeks, there's going to be a lot of information that's carried in terms of me lecturing, but also in terms of what you will be doing. The other thing I will mention is your ASU, your As You Learn is going to be very important. I'm going to be putting forums up. One is just about you for right now. I just made this live. But the other thing I will mention is that there is going to be a lot of journals that will be due on Fridays. You can look that up on the syllabi as well as on As You Learn. But forums of any discussion that you would like to have, any case studies you'd be interested in, or how would you handle this scenario, or what's, what is a way for image repair for something like this. I really would like to make sure that we get good feedback with one another while we discuss some of this stuff. So those are the textbooks that I will want you to give. This one especially, but at the same time, the landing data it's really good for just understanding a lot of crisis communication throughout. So basic structure within the online class, and this is what I'll say. The way I typically do online classes is I'm going to try my best to create consistent yet short videos. So in the range of around 10 minutes max to talk about whatever the case study may be and really try to walk through. I'd also really like to address forums on Thursdays. So as we've been talking, kind of go over some materials of me talking to y'all based on what was written on the forum. So that's something that I'm really going to try to do throughout this semester. But you can expect anywhere from 3 to 4 videos a week as we go through this and make sure that we're all understanding of one another when it comes to the content that's delivered and how you're understanding it. Again, there's going to be a lot of reading that goes along with it. So we'll talk about communication. You can discuss late work. The main thing that I'll say with any kind of late work is just be transparent with me. This also goes the same with special assistants. Be transparent with me in terms of your needs, and I can be accommodating to you based on those needs. So if I'm not being told this information, there's not a lot I can do to help here. However, if you're transparent, if you're upfront, we can definitely talk about certain accommodations for this course. So I know a lot of y'all are working right now, and that may be a little bit difficult for you, but you can go over all this stuff in terms of what you talk to in terms of campus resources with ODS, in terms of academic dishonesty. The drill. Please don't cheat. Please don't plagiarize, that sort of thing. But other things that we can mention here is a little bit of gradings and assignment here. We go by the standard App State grading scale, so nothing out of the ordinary there. And the grades will be kind of in the area of discussion, which will be in your forum post, any written papers that aren't considered with the press release and report. You will have a press conference that may or may not link with the apologia. Just depends on where we are in this semester. Journals will be 5 journals total, so they will be 2% a piece at 10% total. And then your final project, which is abbreviated crisis plan. So normally when I have this in class, it's a group project, but because we're online, we're probably going to have to do this in an individual sense. So with the final project, we will just do an abbreviated one, and I will put those requirements out on the first week so you know exactly what you're getting into. So you can look in terms of the schedule. I will again note that all the journals are always going to be due on Fridays. I always kind of say this is when it's going to be due, and then show, in that area where that might relate in terms of the date. So again, we don't have a lecture any time on Friday, but that's will be the journal comes into play. But you can see here, there's a lot of reading. I will make sure that a lot of these are available, particularly in this first weeks, I should say, when you're getting your textbook. However, just kind of keep an eye on everything. The big thing I would say is check your as you learn daily. Make sure you're always looking through your as you learn. And that way you won't be caught by any surprises by things like reading, which should be always updated at the beginning of the week, or you won't be surprised by any forum posts, which I will expect those forum posts be done at the end of the week as well as your first journal. So that's the way you can get an easy 20% right then and there, is just by participating and actively working in your journals. So that's basically it with the course on the semester. Oh, I will make a brief mention that your 5th journal will be due on August 2nd. However, it's actually a day after the semester is over, is August 3rd. But if you want to turn it in on August 2nd, your final case study, feel free to do so. But I am just offering an extra day just because of when my final grades are due, and I can make sure that those are graded appropriately. So anyway, that is going to be the basis of this class. Please feel free to email me with any questions you might have. Again, Daniel ES@appstate.edu. With any questions you might have, books, things, expectations that you might have, happy to answer and happy to work with you further throughout this semester. So I hope you all have a good day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.